Okay, well, thank you very much. Kumusta tayo mga kaibigan, kababayan, kapatid? Mga Filipinos dito po sa Malaysia, particularly dito din sa Sabah, specifically dito po sa Kota Kinabalu. Kumusta din ang mga overseas Filipino workers sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo? And of course, ang mga kapatid, kaibigan at kababayan natin dyan mismo sa bayan natin, which we call the Philippines. Welcome na welcome kayong lahat po dito sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, on a Friday. On a Friday. Today is July 3 na tayo, July 3 na tayo, thanks God, it's Friday. And tomorrow, we are going to enjoy another weekend po. Kumusta kayo? Sana okay na okay lang ang buhay natin. And I suppose, may mga mixed reaction coming from the different sectors ng Philippine society natin ngayon po. Dahil, ano ba ang topic natin ngayon? The topic today that I'm going to discuss or share with you the latest developments in the Philippines is about the plunder case of Senator Rodante Marcoleta, which will be filing by the office of the Ombudsman, spearheaded by no less than our elected Ombudsman, si Jesus Crispin Remulla. And the other issue that I'm going to touch is, of course, excited, and it's a very hot issue ngayon po sa Pilipinas. It's just a matter of few more days na lang po. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday, July 6, we are going to see again another episode of impeachment dyan po sa Pilipinas. And this time around po, tuloy na po ang impeachment ni Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, which will jumpstart on Monday, July 6. But anyway, in the meantime, today, let's talk about the plunder case against Senator Rodante Marcoleta. For the past 3 days, we experienced huge crowd dyan po sa Pilipinas, dyan po sa particularly dyan po sa Manila, wherein we saw a number, thousands of Filipinos, especially those members of the Iglesia ni Cristo, or INC. They conducted a surprise rally July 1st, July 2nd, and July 3rd. Two venues yun po. One venue is doon po sa People's Power Monument, EDSA po, dyan sa Quezon City. And the other one is dyan po mismo sa Manila, yon sa Liwasang Bonifacio. So, pagod na pagod ang mga Filipino, and nothing happened, It means no untoward incident, no chaos, major chaos po during the 3-day rally organized by the Iglesia ni Cristo po. And that is very good. I salute the participants of the rally. I salute the authorities natin, particularly the policemen, our policemen, as well as personnel coming from the Coast Guard. They were all there doing their job to make sure that the rally will be properly, orderly organized po. For 3 days yun po. For 3 days. Yesterday was the last day, and it was held at the Liwasang Bonifacio po. Liwasang Bonifacio. It was a big crowd. Whether we like it or not, it was a big crowd. And people are shouting, the participants of the rally were shouting, the organizers of the rally were shouting, ito po, accountability, responsibility, peace, and justice. Yon po, that is the main reason why they came out sa street po to voice out what they want to express or voice out to the administration of Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. po. So, okay, the president is now still in Canada attending an official trip dyan po sa Canada, and last July 1st, Canada celebrated their Canada Day celebration po. And one of the guests there po is no other than our presidency, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., otherwise known as BBM. One of the reasons why he went to Canada, it is because of strengthening the bilateral ties between Philippines and Canada, and that was very good. It is very good, no? The intention is very good. The other thing is that he will be meeting with important authorities in Canada, including the business sector in Canada, as well as the Filipino community in Canada. No? One is to encourage foreign investors to come to the Philippines and invest dito po o dyan po sa Pilipinas po. No? And of course, he was there also to meet the Filipino communities while he is in Canada now. But unfortunately po, some group did not welcome President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos in a red carpet po, no? There were some demonstration, there were some shouting about his resignation, so forth and so on po. But natural lang yun po because a lot of Filipinos, especially maybe those in Canada, now they're also disappointed. They're not happy with how the Marcos administration is running the show dyan po sa Pilipinas. Kagaya din namin dito sa Malaysia, be it in West Malaysia and also in Sabah. Maybe not all, but I'm sure majority of the Filipinos po in Malaysia, they're not satisfied, they're not happy, they're also disappointed with how things are moving in the Philippines po. You cannot blame the Filipinos because obviously we can see prices of essential goods continue to increase. No? Mahal ang cost of living ngayon sa Pilipinas. Ang langis natin, fuel, petrol, gasolina, petroleum, no? Mataas na po. Hindi dahil po, it's not because of sa gobyerno, but it is because of the Middle East conflict po. No? Middle East conflict. And of course, political stability, economic stability, security stability sa atin po, we are now facing a big question mark. And because of this po, especially because of the galit ang mga Filipino po tungkol sa flood control project, no? Wherein the Filipinos were made to understand and strongly believe that some 1.8 something, 1.8 trillion na taxpayers' money, instead of going it or using it for infrastructure projects po, no? To help alleviate and ease the living condition of the Filipinos, especially during emergencies like let's say flash flood or typhoons, earthquake, other natural calamities po which we are experiencing or we have been experiencing in the Philippines po, but because of the absence or non-realization of this infrastructure projects, no? Public infrastructure projects, no? Ganito nahirapan ang mga Filipino po. Every time we experience typhoon, flash flood po, same thing, nahirapan ang mga Filipinos, kawawa mga Filipinos po because their properties, their homes, it created a lot of inconvenience po because ang mga affected flood victims po, they have to be evacuated sa evacuation centers po. Sa evacuation centers. We could have solved this problem po a long time ago if and only if the government did the right thing po. No? Unfortunately, hindi naman lahat. I'm not saying all. Hindi naman lahat po. But it was already made known to the public that there are senators, there are congressmen, greedy, selfish, congressmen, senators, government top officials, cabinet secretaries, undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, and of course the private sector po, not to forget, they stole trillions of pesos from the Filipinos, from the taxpayers po, Filipino taxpayers po. And because of that po, galit na galit ang mga Filipino. And again, ako mismo po, I am reminding each and every Filipino po, let us not forget the flood control project scandal. No? Scandal po. No? Let us continue to fight and shout and tell the government, ang presidente natin, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, what we want is transparency, accountability. Those who are involved in this flood control project, or scandal, we want that these people must be put behind bars. Kailangan yun po. They have to pay for the crimes that they have committed. Kawawa talaga tayo mga Filipino, ordinaryong Filipino. Siguro yun po, who benefited from this flood control project scandal po, maganda ang buhay nila hanggang ngayon po. And maybe for another 5, 10, or 15 years or even 20 years po, ang mga anak nila secured na secured po. Because of ito na po, itong mga corruption sa Pilipinas po. Yung mga kalukuhan na ginawa nila po at the expense of the ordinary Filipino. Ordinaryong Filipino po. So let us not forget, for as long as we will not see people who participated in this very big scandal sa Pilipinas po, we will not see them behind bars po, and whatever money we lost because of them po will not be returned to the Filipinos po. I don't think so po. Things will return back to normal sa Pilipinas. Galit na galit tayo po ang mga Filipinos po. Especially tayo, mga overseas Filipino workers home. Everybody knows, overseas Filipino workers po is playing a very big role in helping the economy of our country, which we call the Philippines. Paki na lang, Mr. President. Paki na lang, Mr. President. Do something. Do something dito po sa flood control project. Blue Ribbon Committee investigation should resume immediately para we will be able to know who are the people, who are the people directly, indirectly involved in this huge scandal, corruption scandal po. And they will be put behind bars. A lot of promises are given by the government since last year po. Sabi pa ang presidente, okay, there is no such thing as Christmas for those people involved dyan po sa flood control projects. But, natapos na po ang Christmas. Tapos na po ang New Year celebration natin. Dumating na po ang Chinese New Year. We celebrated ang mga Muslim brothers natin po sa Pilipinas. We celebrated ang Hari Raya and other celebrations po. Black Nazarene ka, Santo Niño sa Cebu pa. But, saan na yan po mga tao involved sa korupsyon? Hanggang ngayon po, kung mayroon na po, sino-sino lang po. Those whose names were mentioned and identified as very vocal against the government, ang case build-up nila po, very fast. Kagaya ni former Senator Bong Revilla, Senator Jinggoy Estrada. And what happened to former Secretary ng Department of Public Works and Highways, si Manuel Bonoan? Ngayon, he is already a state witness. Nandoon na lahat ng mga ebidensya. He already confessed that he played a role there po sa flood control project scandal. What happened? Itong mga engineers sa Department of Public Works and Highways, they became state witness. What happened? What happened to the case of Senator Joel Villanueva? What happened to the case of Senator Chis Escudero. Earlier, when they were sa grupo ni Cayetano, nandoon na po, left and right na po ang mga press releases, announcement made by the government, especially ang DOJ, especially ang Ombudsman, saying that it's just a matter of 1 or 2 weeks po that Escudero and Villanueva will be charged. Malversation or plunder ba yan po? Yun pala po, they are trying to threaten si itong dalawang senator na you have to join the majority grupo nila Senate President Gatchalian po. If you are going to join us, this is what we believe now, no? Based on what we saw, what we heard officially announced sa media po and sa social media po, no? If you join us, then wala na kayong kaso po. Wala na kayong kaso. Si Senator Jigo Estrada refused. Sabi niya, no, I am not going to bowl sa demand ninyo. I am willing to be behind bars. After all, truth will come out. Sooner or later po. So that is the price. And ngayon po, nandyan na po ang kaso against Senator Rodante Marcoleta. If you notice, karamihan ng mga opposition senators ngayon po, may kaso sila po. Why? Is it because they're against the government? Very vocal about corruption? Sila pa nga po, they really fighting for the general public sa mga Filipinos po. And what do they get? Itong mga problema ngayon po. Kaso. So, let's talk about Rodante Marcoleta. Rodante Marcoleta or Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Today po, ang Ombudsman, Office of the Ombudsman, spearheaded by Crispin Remulla, they already filed a plunder case against Senator Rodante Marcoleta po. Against Rodante Marcoleta. Naisampa na ang kasong plunder laban kay Marcoleta po itong araw na ito po. July 3. July 3 po. Let's see po what will happen. Let's see what will happen po. Kung any reaction coming from Marcoleta or from his group, especially ang Iglesia ni Cristo po. Hanggang ngayon po, as of this time, wala pa tayong news or any balita tungkol ang reaksyon kay Marcoleta as well as ang mga supporters ni Marcoleta. Yon na filing of a plunder case against Marcoleta today po, no? Today. Let me share with you po, no? Itong balita po, para sa mga viewers natin dito po sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico po. And the Office of the Ombudsman filed a plunder case against Senator Rodante Marcoleta before the Sandigan Bayan today po, July 1st. The case stemmed from 75 million pesos in campaign donations that Marcoleta received in January 2025 but did not declare his official filings. Also charged are his 3 donors, no? Kasi itong 75 million pesos donated to Marcoleta to support his candidacy as a candidate for the senatorial lapos last 2025 po, last year, no? Sino-sino yan po? Si former lawmaker or congressman and former secretary, si Mike Defensor, and businessman Joseph Varias Espiritu and Aristotle Viray. Tatlo yun sila po. 75 million pesos. Plunder is a non-bailable offense and carries a penalty of up to 40 years in prison if found guilty. Marcoleta received the 75 million in 3 tranches within 4 days in January 2025 or last year. when he was still the gossip or Sagip party list representative in the House and months before the official campaign period for the May 2025 election. Beef Defensor gave 30 million pesos. Espiritu, 25 million pesos, and Viray 20 million pesos based on donors' tax returns and deposit slips cited in the complaint. No? They donated and they paid. Under the law, kailangan nyo po may donors' tax. So, they paid itong mga donors po. No? Marcoleta reportedly did not declare the donation in his statement of contributions and expenditures, or SOSE, after the election. It also did not appear in his statement of assets and liabilities and net worth, or SALN. He declared only 39.6 million pesos in total assets by June 30, 2025 and 16.7 million pesos in cash and savings in this December 2025 SALN. Itong kaso po, dumating na ito po sa COMELEC. But ang COMELEC dismissed itong case and officially announced that walang offense si Marcoleta. Remember that? Ang COMELEC mismo sabi na walang violation si Marcoleta. By taking undue advantage of his official positions as then representative of the Sagip party list and the influence he wielded as congressman, responded Marcoleta unjustly and enriched himself at the expense and prejudice of the Filipino people, the ombudsman said in a prior filing before the Sandigan Bayan in May. Marcoleta has denied any wrongdoing. In his counter affidavit, he vehemently, categorically rejected the allegations, arguing the 75 million pesos cannot be considered public funds and was received before the campaign period. The case traces back to Marcoleta's own statements in a televised interview after the 2025 polls. The senator admitted he did not disclose some contributions in his SOSE, saying his donors asked him not to. That admission prompted a Commission on Election showcase order. The COMELEC cleared Marcoleta. The COMELEC cleared him of election offense in March 2026, ruling that the donation fell outside the campaign period. So, na-clear si Marcoleta po. But it was the ombudsman that pursued the case under anti-corruption and anti-plunder laws, after which it filed a complaint on May 18. In a press statement released Friday, the Office of the Ombudsman, Friday po, it means today, the Office of the Ombudsman emphasized that the decision to file charges was not a decision made lightly or by choice. The anti-graft body noted that because of the 75 million in cash donations remains undeclared in Marcoleta's statement of assets and liabilities and net worth, or SALN, and campaign finance reports, it was legally bound to act. Yun po. No? And si Marcoleta, repeatedly, even during the rally, last night po, and the other day, second day of the rally, dyan po sa EDSA or sa People's Power Monument po, he keep on repeating that he's ready and he will not hide. He will peacefully surrender once a warrant of arrest will be released sa kanya po. And he's very confident that the court will not find him guilty. So ready na ready po si Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Sabi naman po ang INC, Iglesia ni Cristo, during the rally, they were saying that even si Marcoleta will be having a plunder case po they will strongly support and be behind Marcoleta po in this quest. In this quest po. So let's see po what will happen po. Ngayon na nag-file na sila po ng flood control ng plunder case against Senator Marcoleta po. Wala pa tayong sabihin natin ng reaction coming from Marcoleta and the supporters po. But anyway, let's see po. Let me share with you a video clip dito po from ano ito po, no? Very known lawyer, attorney, and mga posting niya po sa social media, no? About political issues, legal issues po, and I'm referring to no other than si Attorney Regal Oliva po. No? Let's see, during the interview sa kanya po, sa Bilyonaryo, a program po, she was commenting about Marcoleta's plunder case po. Plunder case. Let's watch and listen to Attorney Regal Oliva po. Brief lang ito. And I think it's worthwhile sharing with you itong statement made by Regal Oliva.
In the first place that it
Alam po, nandito. Let's watch and listen to this.
if you file a plunder case against a sitting senator using private funds, I don't know where the plunder is there. As I've said, a case of plunder was filed because he accepted campaign donations worth 75 million pesos, and I don't see the relevance of plunder here because supposedly you are accepting private donations for your campaign, and that is not supposed to be for your personal gain. So you do not expect Senator Marcoleta to be declaring that in his statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth, because that is not supposed to be his in the first place. That is supposed to be spent correct for elections, and that is why he should have had declared it in his OC, which can be corrected at any time.
Alright, dayan po. Narinig natin ang observation, ang opinion ni Attorney Regal Oliva. No? Na he cannot see any reasons why dapat mag-file ng plunder case against Rodante or Senator Rodante Marcoleta when it comes to campaign donations po. When we talk about campaign donation, no? Sometimes you cannot blame also. Ang mga tao is asking even si President Bongbong Marcos also ignored ba or shy away from answering ang question po, no? When he was asked about what is his comment on people saying selective justice po, no? Selective justice. So, the government, even ang ombudsman is saying they don't play any selective justice, no? Basta may ebidensya, they will base ang action nila po based on evidences, which is very good. No? Which is very good. I think that's the best thing that the authorities concerned should do. But what is happening now po, parang this is not happening po. Okay, with you to, I'll give you an example. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, Marcoleta, 75 million. Campaign or donation coming from the private sector. Okay, ilan mga politicians dyan po, be it senators, be it the president, ilan sila po who also receive campaign donations. Earlier, I mentioned po, some politicians, some top government officials, presently sitting on dyan po sa very sensitive and high positions sa gobyerno po, they donated sa kampanya ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. And it's not only, we are not only talking about 75 million po. They donated by the hundreds of millions. Hundreds of billions po. Bakit walang kaso ang ombudsman sa kanila po? Why? Bakit kay Rodante Marcoleta? Target kay Rodante Marcoleta. Hindi ba yun selective justice? They will just select. If you are our enemy, then this is it. This is what you are going to get. Yun po. That's how ang mga Filipinos are feeling now. Can you blame us? Mr. Marcos? Mr. Remulla? You cannot. This is how we feel. Because we can see. We can see po. We are not blind. We are not deaf. We can see what is happening. See? President Marcos was saying, nagtaka siya po. He was surprised. Bakit may rally daw? Bakit may rally the other day? Diyan po sa Ezra Shrine. People's Power Monument. I find it very strange for the President to say that. You just imagine, he's saying, parang he doesn't know why. Bakit? Mr. President, what is happening? Since 2022, you became the President hanggang ngayon, 2026. Hindi nyo ba nakita what is happening sa Pilipinas? Isa na dyan po, although you are the one who exposed it, ang flood control projects, anomalous deals. But hindi mo ba nakita paano ang mga presyo going up? Nahihirapan ang mga Filipino when it comes to their cost of living, daily cost of living. Hindi nyo ba nakita na bakit wala tayong foreign investors coming in since the time you became the president? Mayroon man, pero konti lang. Hindi nyo ba na notice bakit in terms of example lang, to the tourism sector po, ang Malaysia ang pinaka number 1. No? Last year, ang daming mga turista nagpunta dito sa Malaysia. Followed by Vietnam. And then I think it's Thailand. And then mayroon na ang Singapore. And pinakamababa po ang Pilipinas. Bakit? You did not see? Nobody told you? Ang exchange rate ng peso. You did not see? Na bakit ngayon is $1 is equivalent to 61 point something pesos? Hindi nyo ba nakita yung mga, every time mayroon tayong natural calamities po, parehas pa rin ang problema? Pagdating ang typhoon, pagdating ang flash flood, ganon pa rin ang problema natin. And yet the President is saying, nagtaka siya po kung bakit nag-rally ang mga tao the other day. Diba? I don't know, maybe this is my own opinion lang yan po. Sa akin lang ito po. Masakit yan sa akin to talk like this po. But I am telling you, this is how I feel. I don't think so po, ako lang mag-isa po. I think karamihan din ng mga Filipinos po, both dito sa amin, sa Malaysia, sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo po, mga Filipinos po, overseas Filipino workers. That includes din ang mga kaibigan, kababayan natin dyan po sa Pilipinas po. I think, especially mga ordinaryong Filipino, this is also how they feel. So, Mr. President, please wake up. Please wake up. Do something. Mayroon pa tayong 2 years. Mayroon pa kayong 2 years. Although I consider it as parang last 2 minutes na ito po, no? But siguro, may miracle can still happen. I hope the President will do something. Okay? Don't forget, do something. Act now and show to us na itong si Saldico, itong si Martin Romualdez, kung totoo man itong mga allegations kay Sandro Marcos, ang anak ninyo po, kung totoo man that your name, which was mentioned by people who directly or indirectly involved sa flood control project scandal po. Kung totoo man ito, mga cabinet secretaries ninyo po really involved po, top government officials po. Kung totoo man yun po, why don't you do something and put them in behind bars? So that people, siguro po, we are going to wake up. We will wake up and say, ito na, at long last, the president, ang presidente natin, is doing something now. Ito mga kaso-kaso you are filing against itong mga kontra sa gobyerno po, mga lawmakers who are talking against the government po. Is it another thing for the preparation of the SONA sa July 27 po? Para at least may issue kayo sa SONA? Or what? Yun po. Yun po. Alright, so let's go sa, okay, may time pa tayo. Let's go sa, sa impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte. That will be on July 6. Sa impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte. Alright, for the information of the general public, ang mga followers natin dito sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, it has been confirmed now that Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian will preside ang impeachment trial ni Inday Sara Duterte. Ibig sabihin po, wala na yun mga haka-haka, mga istorya po that Chis Escudero will be elected or appointed to be the presiding officer sa impeachment hearing ni Inday Sara Duterte. Because the law says it should be the Senate President. But medyo may issue dyan po because si Senate President Gatchalian is not a lawyer. Baka mahirapan siya po. Baka mahirapan siya. But anyway, now it has been confirmed that he will be the presiding officer sa impeachment trial ni Inday Sara Duterte. Nandito po ang balita, lumabas na po sa newspapers, national newspaper dyan po sa Pilipinas, that Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian, Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian said that he will preside over the Senate Impeachment Court for the trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Contrary to previous reports that the majority bloc was eyeing Senator Chis Escudero for the position. Under our rules, ang Senate President ang magpa-preside. Gatchalian told DZMN today po, July 3, when asked to confirm if they have already decided which senator to elect as the presiding officer. Klarong-klaro na po. Si Senate President Gatchalian will be the presiding officer. Senator Raping Lacson said in June that the majority bloc was planning to elect Escudero as the presiding officer following the amendments made the rule that allows the designation or election of a different senator aside from the Senate President. Gatchalian also said that aside from preparing the chamber itself, he is also already studying the technicalities of presiding over the Senate Impeachment Court as well as the merit of the case. Ito lang po, medyo mahirapan si, I think he will find some problems there po because he's not a lawyer, and if you are a presiding officer po, you're open for criticism talaga yun po. Kunting mali lang po in case may problema ang prosecutor at saka ang defense team po, when they are questioning itong mga witnesses po, kung wala tayong enough knowledge po sa court hearing po, baka mahirapan po si Gatchalian. So, yun po. The preparation is intense because we are looking at all possible scenarios, we are looking for everything that may happen. So the preparation are long, sabi ni Gatchalian. All elected as senators except the lawmaker in hiding, Senator Rodante Marcoleta, Ronaldo De La Rosa, and suspended Senator Jinggoy Estrada are expected to attend the start of the impeachment trial on Monday, July 6 po. Currently, there are only 22 senators who are expected to appear as senator judges during the impeachment proceedings. Kasi minus 2 na yan po, si Jinggoy at saka si De La Rosa o si Bato. De La Rosa is still in hiding from authorities to evade a warrant of arrest from the International Criminal Court. Estrada, on the other hand, is suspended for 90 days and back in jail over his plunder case related to flood control corruption. Related to that, the matters related to the conviction threshold will not be discussed yet on the first day of the impeachment proceedings, sabi ni Gatchalian. Hindi pa sila mag-discuss ang threshold po, no? The 92-day impeachment proceedings may last for 7 to 8 months. According to Gatchalian, it means hanggang September ito po, no? Starting next week, on Monday, trials will be conducted from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, starting at 2 p.m. Starting Monday po. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, alas 2 yun po, mag-start ang impeachment trial ni Inday Sara Duterte. The schedule will shift from Tuesday to Thursday after President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s State of the Nation address on July 27. After July 27 po, mayroon namang bagong schedule sa impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte po, and that will be Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday po. Same time ito. The Senate Impeachment Court will open to the general public with 61 allocated seats. And you can make the booking la po. Booking. So yun po. No? When it comes to the threshold, no? Sana yan po. When it comes to threshold, they did not discuss yet. However, si Gatchalian again reiterated that based on the Constitution po, ang threshold po ngayon is 16. To convict Inday Sara Duterte, there must be a vote of 16. No? And to acquit Inday Sara Duterte is 9. Because the law says all the 24 senators po. But let's see po what will happen after the first day of the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. Inday Sara Duterte po. So yun, ang latest updates natin tungkol sa itong thunder case ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta tungkol sino magiging presiding officer po, no? Sa impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. I don't know if I can share with you po another news, no? Another news po. Sandali po. Let's see. Kung ito pala po. I will not I have no intention to forget this thing po. Now, the Senate Impeachment Court has nag-order na po kay Vice President Inday Sara Duterte to appear on Monday. To appear on Monday. Notice has already sent to Inday Sara Duterte about the start of the official jump-starting of the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte sa July 6. However po, and remember, the trial will start at 2 p.m. However po, optional yan po. Si Inday Sara Duterte can physically appear sa first day of the impeachment trial, or else she can also be represented through her lawyers. Of which, karamihan natin po, we are looking at the situation po based on the statement made by ang spokesperson ng respondent legal team, si Michael Poa po, sabi niya po, depende pa yan po kay Inday Sara Duterte because actually po, it is not compulsory for Inday Sara Duterte to appear sa trial proceedings po. Unless otherwise po, he will be called by the senator judges po. No? Senator judges po. So sa ngayon, hanggang ganyan lang po. So, ang prosecutor team is asking, dapat daw pumunta si Inday Sara Duterte. Ha? Dapat daw. Pero sabi ng mga team ng respondents, so sabi niya, hindi, it's not obligatory. But, the Senate Senate Judge Court already po, ang mga members po, mga senator judge po, they already officially advised or invited si Inday Sara Duterte to be present during the Monday opening of the impeachment hearing. Alright? So yan po ang latest updates natin tungkol sa what is happening sa Pilipinas. And siguro hanggang dito na lang muna tayo. And kung sakali mayroon tayong mga iba-iba pang mga updates that I can get from Manila, and kung importante yun talaga po, then I'll make sure that I'm going to inform you immediately po. I might not be able to give you mga breaking news, lahat ng mga breaking news po, but definitely po, whatever news that I'm going to share with you po, dito sa programa natin, Nick Talk, Daria Talk with Nico, definitely it will still be a fresh news. Maski paano, I hope I managed to entertain sa inyong lahat po. And in many ways, or in whatever ways po, at least I managed to give you information that you deserve to get, no? So that you will not be blamed of what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. So in the meantime, once again, si Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Let us enjoy ang weekend natin. Don't forget, find time to be with our family this weekend. And don't forget our obligation, religious obligation po. Don't forget to pray for our country, for the world, and please include for Malaysia and also for Sabah po. Hidup Malaysia! Sabah bole! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! I'll see you in my next episode. Bye! I love you. Enjoy kayo po and ingat.